So if you again have, if you know your friend's supposed to be here, just send them a quick message, tell them we're about to begin. All right. So today our meeting is on making games in Unity, where we'll be just making something small, a small flying game in Unity, just to kind of whet your appetite. Hope you guys actually stay tuned, stay interested, and if you manage to develop something significant, just share a link in the chat so we can play. I know there was a game jam a couple weeks ago at UE. Not sure if any of you participated, but if you did, also send the game link. I'd like to play a game. And with that, I think we're ready.
Yep. All right. Welcome again, guys. So today we're just going to run through some basics of Unity, and just do something fun. Try and make a game. All right. So you guys know how game works? Like anybody, you can just unmute. Nobody.
Oh yeah, I say yes.
Okay. All right. So tell us what you understand about how games work then. Was that Teji?
Yeah. Well, what I understand about games is just something that take you into a different world. If you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's like a digital experience then, right?
Yes,
Okay.
and it let you do like simulate anything what which you can't do in real life, but you can do it in a game.
Right. Right. All right. So thanks for that. So when we think about video games, I think it's one of the few fields where art, music, code, storytelling all come. So it's a multifaceted field, right? You have a lot of different people that work on a single game. So technically, no, the game itself is basically just a loop of events. So it runs forever until you terminate the game, right? And inside this loop, you have things like input, output. So if you have a controller, you would take that input, move your character, stuff like that. Graphical calculations also happen in this time. And everything else like music, animation, it's all within a continuous loop, right? So that's basically how a game works, right? And all of this happens multiple times per second or multiple frames per second. So that's where we get FPS from. Right. So what can Unity do? So you guys have probably heard about Unity before. So it's a video game engine. It can do 2D and 3D games, but it's more popular for 2D games. You see a lot more 2D games made with Unity. And for like 3D games, a lot of them prefer like Unreal. So yeah. So Unity is also capable of doing like AR, VR, any type of game basically, first person shooters, racing, arcade, stuff like that. And Unity uses C sharp, right? The programming language C sharp. And there's also the option of visual scripting. If you've ever used Scratch, you guys know Scratch? It's like a drag and drop coding interface. So there's also that option if you're not like a programmer, right? And you can do visual effects like for movies and stuff like that. Again, Unreal is probably the go-to for stuff like that, but you can still do a lot with Unity. And you can also publish to all the different platforms like Android, iOS, Windows, Xbox, basically everything, Switch, yeah. All right, and here's some examples of games that were made with Unity. So we have Cuphead, Ori and the Blind Forest, Pokemon Go, that was like really popular, Pillars of Eternity, and so many others. Most of the games on like the Google Play Store are made with Unity. Right. All right, any questions? Yeah, I see Javian mentioned Godot or Godot. That's another game engine. Right. All right, any questions?
No, it don't seems.
All right, cool. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to show you guys now some like demos of stuff you can do with Unity just to give you an idea of the things you can do with Unity, right? And these are all like prototypes, so don't judge me. All right, so give me a second, let me reshare. Okay, you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so here is Unity Hub. So this is basically where you go to start up all your new projects in Unity. The installation is pretty simple, so I won't really go through that. Just go to unity3d.com and follow the instructions. All right, so let me see if I can. All right, so let me just show you guys some stuff. And again, if you have any like questions, you can unmute. Yeah, this does take some time.
All right. So while he's on that, welcome. I think we have somebody to welcome. Roshan Williams. There we go. Um, think it's up. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so it's a game I've been working on. It's like a Mars exploration game. So let me just play through real quick. So you can run around, do stuff. This is the character. Um, all right, I'm using a game controller with this. So yeah, something else you can do. All right, so right now it's basically just like a walking simulator where you can see like all the different things. Yeah, there's like a double jump too.
Yeah, very fascinating. No, no joke.
All right, so yeah, it's basically it. This model, I think I got it online. So if you're not like a 3D artist, don't worry. All right, so let's just take a second to look this window here. So you can see like how the whole level is structured, right? Oh, my character is over there. Then the whole map is here. You see, it's just one big square. Okay, and over here you'll see on the right side here, these are all the files relating to the project. So you can see there's a bunch of animations. Right, and over here you will see like the details for anything you select. Right, so I can play some of these animations. Right. And you have like audio files for music and effects. Won't play those. And here we have the models. So if you do 3D modeling, you'll know like you can use Blender or Maya or any other 3D modeling software, and you can just drag those into Unity. Right, so this is the model for the character. Right, and this is the helmet. All right. All right, let me pull up another project. I think this one. All right, so again, it's going to take some time.
So I have a question. Can you show where you get some of those models when I get a chance?
Yes, actually. So some of them I made, but more often than not, there's this site called Mixamo here. So you can go up here to characters, and they have animations also. It's not just the models. So you can scroll through, find a character you like, and just drag that into your game. Just download it. All right, so I'll send the link to this afterwards too.
All right, thanks.
All right.
Javian said he wished he saw this before he went to the game jam. I told you if you went to the game jam, send us a link to your game, Chief.
Oh yeah, Javian went. How was that?
The
Said
experience
there
was
was.
okay. Experience was okay. Free food. Uh, it was like so. First, initially, it was like create an idea based on a theme called Roots, I believe, and then
Okay.
we got like 48 hours to like learn to develop something. Yeah,
Oh,
it was nice,
sounds fun.
fun. Yeah, free food.
Yeah, it's every year too, right? So you guys can look out for that. Okay, I think this is done now. All right. Hopefully this works. I haven't opened these in a long while. Does it work? No. Wait, let me go full screen. Okay, so this one, it's like a fighting game. Can shoot stuff. This model was made in Blender. Jump.
Wait, by you?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember how this game works. Yeah. Okay. Roll. Yeah, the controls are a bit weird, but yeah, it works. All right, so yeah. Let's see. All right, so let me close this one. So last thing I'm going to show you guys is like an advertisement, I guess. So you can make like videos with Unity also. So this video is like it's an advertisement for like a sci-fi watch. So, wait, can you guys hear it?
Yes, we
Yeah,
can.
yes,
Yes.
I'm hearing.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you can do a lot of stuff with Unity. We try to like copy Apple with that advertisement. Right. All right, so let's make a game now. Let me close this. All right, so back to Unity Hub. So I'm going to click new project. And you have like a bunch of templates you can select from with Unity. So for 2D games, 3D games, mobile games, VR, if you're doing like a first person game and racing, there's a lot. So for this, I'm going to select 3D sample scene. And we just call this flight test.
All right, so while he's importing this, Javian shared another website where you could get some assets for a game. And Tajay looks like he actually published a game on the App Store.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's check
co-cubes
it out.
run. Co-cubes run. Alright, so I'll give it a test and then I'll six different game environments, unlockable characters,
Oh, this looks nice.
versatile weather system. Yeah. And then JV did share the game link. Beautiful, beautiful. I'll give it a play and I'll get
If
back
you
to you about it.
guys could demo it, that would be really cool.
See, just got that. Yeah, if we have some time afterwards, you could demo that.
Right. Oh, it's still not done. Yeah, these game projects can get really large, so just keep that in mind.
Can you compress them?
Some files you can, but it depends. Like audio files and stuff like that, you can compress them. Your models, you can compress. But yeah, it just really depends.
I think at the very best you're going to get is when you compile it and you get like a single executable at the end. Then you can say, all right, cool. You know?
Yeah. Okay, it's done. All right, so this is the default scene you get with the project. So all right, I'm just going to select and delete all of this. Well, no, not all, just these. All right, so let's start off with some basics. So if you wanted to create some basic shapes like a cube, you can just go over here where it says hierarchy. All right, so just right click 3D object, and you'll see you have a bunch of different objects you can choose from. We'll do cube, and you see it pops up here. All right, so the window here at the top is called the scene view, and this is basically just where you place all your objects and design the level. You can rotate around, you can move stuff, and then down here, this is the actual game view. This is what the player would see. If you notice this object here, it's called a camera. So you can just think of this as like your eyes, basically. This is the window to the game. So however you move your camera would affect what you see. Right. All right, so let's go back to the cube. All right, on the right side here, you can see we have different properties of the cube over here under inspector. So first thing we have is transform, and transform basically just gives it position, rotation, and scale within 3D space, right? Or within 2D space if you're making a 2D game. Then we have mesh filter that basically just tells it what the object should look like. And then mesh renderer, this is for lighting, materials, like colors and stuff like that. And then we have a box collider. So collider is just for, yeah, it's kind of self-explanatory, collision detection and stuff like that. So if I put two boxes together, they don't just go through each other. All right, so let's create another object. Let's do terrain. Oh, squad. So and center it. All right, let's delete the cube. All right, so the camera, we're going to just position it in the of the world. So it'll be position 000, X, Y, and Z position. And we'll reset the rotation to 0. All right, we can move it up a bit. All right. And if you guys have any questions, just let me know. All right, so we're going to be making a flying game, basically. So I downloaded this model for a jet, if I can find it. Desktop. Okay, here it is. I'm going to just import this. All right, and you can see pop. All right, so here you can see the file we just downloaded. It's pink right now because there's an issue with the materials. So what we can do is here where it says material, let's go here and change this, the shader. And a shader is just basically a way of rendering something. So I could have different shaders, like a cartoon shader to make it look like a drawing, or a holographic shader to make it like see-through, stuff like that. We're going to change this to universal render pipeline lit. Then here where it says base map, this is basically just dragging a texture onto the material. So we're going to take this from over here, just drag it in. If you look back on our model, you see it has the right textures now. All right, so now I can just drag this into the scene. See it here. And we're going to center it. Okay, now it's halfway in the floor, so bring it up a bit. And now you can see like our camera is inside the object, so we don't want that. Can just move it back, pull it up. All right. And we can rotate it a bit so it's looking down. Okay, that looks good. Okay. All right, so now what we can do is, so we have our camera, we have it looking at the jet, but we're going to want the camera to move along with the jet, right? So what we can do is we can just grab the camera here, where it says main camera, and just drag it into the spaceship. All right, so now the ship is the parent object of the camera. Right, so if we move the ship, it also moves the camera with it. So I'm going to disable this. This came with it by default. We don't need that. All right, so basically have our ship done. So next thing we need to do is actually make it move. So we need some code. So we can go over here and I can actually remove some of this. Okay, so come here to scripts and we can delete this. All right, so we're going to right click, create, then C# script, and we can call this player movement. All right, then once we have that created, we're just going to drag this script onto our spaceship. All right, just like that. So you can see it's attached over here. All right, so we can open this. Open should. Uh, I don't want VS Code. Give me a second, guys. Any questions so far?
So since someone's asking questions, I should assume that you guys, will have a game for next week, maybe the demo. Right?
Yeah, I have one I can show after the presentation is finished.
All right, love that.
Okay, great.
All right.
I'm trying to change this so it opens in Visual Studio instead. Okay. Yeah. All right, so let's open it now. So Visual Studio has better tools for working with Unity. So I recommend that instead of VS Code. Okay. All right. So here's our code. So first thing you'll see is there's one class. It's called player movement, what we just named it. And the type of this class is mono behavior. All right. So this is basically just the default um, object type for anything that you create. And it basically just allows you to define how it works, really. And there's different types, but mono behavior is like the one you'll be using most. And here, this function is called start. It says it's called the first frame update. So the first time you run your game, this method would be called. So basically, you use this for like initiating things like creating different objects, stuff like that, one time operations. Then here you have update, and this runs once per frame. So remember earlier I was saying a game is just a loop of events. So this update function is basically where all of that would happen. And there's also another function called fixed update, and that's more for running physics calculations every frame. Right. All right, so we can start. So the first thing we want to do is we want to make our jet move. So we need to accept some form of input, right? So we want to use the arrow keys or the ASW keys. So what we're going to use, we're going to create two variables. They're floats. We're going to say, call this one move X, movement in the X axis. I'm going to set that equal to input at get axis horizontal. So the horizontal axis is basically just left and right. And we're going to copy this. Call this one move Y. And this one will be vertical. All right, so now in order to actually move our object, remember the transform component I mentioned earlier. So that allows us to position our object. So we're going to just say transform dot translate. And you'll know translation from math. You're just moving an object based on coordinates. So we can move it by X, Y. Okay, so for the X, actually we'll set X and Y to 0. And for Z, we're going to use the move Y. So Z is basically the forward direction. All right, so let's go back to Unity. Did I save it? Oh, okay. All right, so let's see if that did anything. Okay, so we can move forwards and backwards. So I'm using the up and down arrows, and you can also use A or W and S.
So now
Let's make it turn. So again, we want to do transform dot. This time we want to rotate it. And we want to rotate it around the X axis. Or wait. Let's see. Okay, so we want the arrows to turn our plane this way. So that's Z. All right.
let's see.
Okay, so it's moving. It's not exactly what we want. something else. So for the translation, instead of doing it like that, let's rotate it instead.
Want to rotate it
Up
and down.
is that pitch, right? So we're going to move it on the x-axis instead. So do move y. All right, and instead of translating here, what we can do is we can apply a constant force to it. So we can say, call it 20. So this 20 would basically be the speed. Oh, that might be too fast actually. Let's try a small number. Ooh, that's fast. All right, so we know it a bit. Let's try 0.5. Oh, and in C sharp, when you want to work with a decimal number, you have to put F beside it so it knows it's a float. All right, so let's okay. All right, it's much better.
Add some hoops and some collision detection. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, let's do that. All right, so we only have like 2 degrees of movement right now. So let's add what's it called? Is it called yaw, that motion? But
Mm-hmm.
left and right. So for this, let's use the 2 shift keys. How we do that is, oh, actually, let's do it above. So let's get the shift key. So input dot, this time we want to do get key. We want to do key code dot shift, so left shift. All right, and we want this to turn the plane to the left. So you could probably store this in a variable. So let's say yaw plus equals 0.1. can do an else if input dot get key code dot right shift yeah. Actually, this should be plus. All right. So let's put yeah as the y. All right. Hopefully this works. Okay, it's working, but it's slow. Let's try. Okay, there it is. So we can turn left and right. Right. Actually, I think these are inverted. So let's change the X. All right, so we have
So far.
use velocity. Yeah, I was thinking about that. It's probably better. All right, so everybody following along so far?
I am.
All right.
It's cool.
All right, so let's see if we can find a model for like some rings or something. Give us something to do. Ring 3D. Like the Sonic rings or something. All right, this looks good. Okay, so let's, it's a zip file. All right, so we have our ring now. So I'm going to look for the FBX file. All right, so this is the one that we want. Just drag this over into Unity. We don't have a folder for it, so I'll just drop it anywhere. Okay. All right, so it came with some other stuff that we don't want. So let's just drag it in. And here we can just remove all of the extra stuff. Okay. Here's our ring. All right, so over here we can change the scale of it so we can make it really big. Let's do 10. Okay, 10. All right. All right, let's move this. Oh, wow, it's still too small.
This is your plane that you design?
No, I downloaded this.
Oh, you don't from a site to get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Let's try 200. 500. Okay, so it's big enough. Okay. All right, so now we can just start placing these all over. Or actually, before we do that, we want to add a collider to this ring so that we know when our plane touches it. So go over here, click add component, and I don't remember which folder it is. Just search for collider. This. All right, let's do box collider. All right, for some reason it's off center. All right, so if you look closely, you can see this green box right here. I don't know if you guys can see that, it's kind of faint.
I'm seeing it.
All right, so that's our collider, but it's too small now, so we want to change it. So we can go here, it says edit collider. Just click this. Then we can drag the collider. So let's turn here. All right, good. So we just drag it till it fits the shape. All right, we're good. All right, so we don't want, so right now it's a physical object. So our plane would just like stop once it hits it, like our wall. So we want to change this to be a trigger instead. So a trigger just means that other objects can go through it, but it will still detect the collision. Okay, so take that. And let's check back on our plane, make sure it has a collider. Right, it does not. So let's add collider to the plane. Let's do box collider. Right, so again, we want to edit it so that it fills the whole space. Let's drag it here. All right, and there are different types of colliders. So depending on the shape of the object that you're working with, you can choose whichever one works best. And so oops. All right, so that should be good. All right, so we're going to need some sort of counter. So let's make some UI so we can know how many points we get. So over here, right click for UI, and we want to create a canvas or text. We can create text that will create the canvas. Import. What? All right, so if we click our text over here, you'll see it pops up here. And if in the corner, you see it in the bottom right there. So we can just zoom out. Let's move this text. So let's put it up here. All right, so we can set points. You can change like the different attributes of the text. If you want it underlined, italics, stuff like that. And you can also use your own custom fonts. Let's change the color. Okay, and there's also some other stuff you can do, like outlining it. So, all right, looks good. So this is like a text shadow. All right, so we have text. Let's actually rename this text. So just click twice, call it points txt. All right, so now let's go back to our rings. We can just position a bunch of them. So let's move this one. We could also do this in code to have it randomly generate them. So let's put this here. So let's duplicate this. So to duplicate an object, you just press Control D. And we have another ring. I can move this one. So and let's play it again. Rings, if you can aim properly.
Yeah, maybe make the rings a bit bigger for us normal people.
Can't even see them from so high up.
That's another thing too.
I think there's fog enabled. Let's edit all of these rings just to make them a bit large. All right. I'm going to go into settings and turn on this fog. Notice that if we go too far, everything just becomes gray. I think it's rendering. Right. Okay. Fuck. All right. So now we can see everything better. Right. Those are probably too sensitive. All right, but you can see that it works. All right, so now let's go back to our code. So if you want to detect collision, there's a function for that. It's called on trigger enter. Well, in this case, it's a trigger. Oh. Then we want to check which object we collided with. So we're going to do if, see we get a collider object here. So if other at, let's see, that game object. So game objects basically just any object within a scene. So and we want to check, we can either check the name of the object or we can check a tag on the object. So it's probably best to do a tag check because the same object might have different names. So let's do tag equals, and let's see, ring. If it's equal to the ring, then we want to update our score. All right, so to do that, we need a reference to that text object that we created. So I'm going to go all the way up here. I'm going to declare a variable for that text. And I think it's text mesh. Any of the Unity people remember what it is, just, yeah. I think it's text mesh. So we can call it score text. And for this object, we're going to make it public. You'll see why in a second. So let's go back. Did I save it? Yes, okay. So if we go back to our spaceship, so you notice we have a slot right here. It says score text. So any object that you make public within a Unity script, you get it, it gives you a slot right here that you can control it with. So you don't have to go back into your code. You can just modify it from within the Unity editor. All right, so let's find our text. We should be able to just drag it in. No. Okay. I probably have the wrong variable type. All right. Google it is. Okay, I think it's this.
Oh, you have to add the namespace using TMS
Just
Pro. Yeah.
just trying to remember if this was the right data type. All right, so let's drag it. Yes, it works. So just like that, we just assigned our variable basically just by dragging and dropping it here. So let's go back to the code. Then no, so each time we run into that object, we can say score text at text equals score colon, and we need a variable to keep track of the score. Let's go back up here. Float score. Set it equal to 0. So every time we run into it, we do score plus. All right, so now our game should be working better now. No. Oh, never added a tag. So it's checking specific tags. If you any game object, all right,
And it's untagged, so I want to go and
add a tag. So it's plus, and we called it ring. Save it. Then we want to select all of our ring objects. We can just give them all the same tag of ring. So now, if we run it again, it should be working. We should see our score increase. Or not. All right, let's find out why. Should be working. Any ideas?
You have to use Text Mesh Pro.
I think that's like the default now. But all right, let's actually just check if it's colliding any at all. Is it debug.log?
Yeah, use a double quote.
Too much JavaScript. Thank you. Right, so if the collision is working, we should see it. No. It's not detecting a collision.
Try see if I can put a static rigid body on the rings and see if it would work.
I think that might be it, you know. Should I put on the rings or the player? I think only one
I
of
even
them
both.
needs to.
Yeah, you can try it on the plane.
All right. All right. So rigid body is basically adds physics to whatever object it is, right? We want to turn off use gravity. All right. So let's try again. Now it's working. Great. So when you're detecting collision, at least one of the objects needs to have a rigid body attached. All right, so we have a functional game. So what else? So we can add, so every run through.
Your sound.
Any questions so far? All right. All right, let's see if we can find some simple sound effects. All right, I like this one. All right, so let's just drag this over into Unity. All right. All right, so now whenever we want to play sound, we need to attach a audio player to our object, right? So again, go here to add component and look for audio source. Yeah, audio source. And we can just drag in our audio clip. Right. And we can deselect play on awake. We don't want it to play. Yeah, you can change like volume, pitch, all of these, but that's basically all we need right now. So let's go back to our code. So we want to create another variable for that audio source. Let's do your source and just call it audio. Oh, I can't use that name. All right, so here's where we get to use the start method. So the first time we run our code, we want it to instantiate this variable, give it a value. So we're going to say audio source is equal to, and we want to do get component. And the type of this component is audio source. All right, so this function here, it just returns any component that is on the current object. So like we could do rigid body here or transform or any other component we attach. All right, so we have that. So now down here, after we set the score, we want to do audio source dot play. Save it. All right, so sound is working. Right, so basically done. Yes, the only thing we can make it look nicer. Look at our terrain. So right now, a check pattern. So we can do is we can actually edit the terrain, give it like mountains and stuff. So let's try doing that now. So over here, it says terrain. You can click these buttons here to manipulate it. So I want to click paint terrain. Right, and we can select any one of these. And we can just start painting. So just like that. And we can change the size. Oh, that's way too big. So I'm going to erase this one. Okay, so it says hold shift to lower. All right, so we can actually change the color as well. So can you create there? Well, we don't have a texture. All right, so let's do some Googling again. Let's look for dirt. All right, this is good enough. So let's save that. Take this back into Unity. All right, so go to our terrain now. Say create layer. Look for our dirt. And now we have dirt. Obviously, it looks terrible, so let's see if we can modify that. Okay, no, those are fine. So let's increase this size to 100. Still too big. Okay. Oh, it's probably just the texture because it's not a seamless texture, so we get those lines in it. Dirt. All right, let's see if I can find a better one. Seamless. All right. All right, this can work. A lot of game development is just playing with values until you get something right. All right, so yeah, works with some polishing. This would be a really good game. All right, how's everybody doing? We're following.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, I am following.
Hmm. Let's can I not modify this? All right, guys. So yeah, that's basically it for the game. I can make this code available if you guys want. Right. Can use the space bar. Yes, yes, we can. Raheem.
All right. It seemed a couple people had to go, but Tajay, if you're still here and want to like show us a game again.
Yeah.
Tajay?
Yeah, yes, I'm here. See me.
All right, cool.
Actually, I have a 5 o'clock class, so I'm gonna be quick.
Oh, okay.
All right, that.
Hey, guys, seen it?
Yeah, I see the screen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, it's just a simple 2D game I'm working on. It's based on the crisis going on in Haiti now.
In what?
Haiti,
Haiti.
the gang them
Oh,
take over and
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Yeah, it's based on that.
Oh,
So
interesting.
actually, this guy is saving Haiti itself. So killing the gangs, cure people, you know, and all those stuff. Yeah, that my plan to add in it.
Okay. And so can you pick up the guns?
Yes, man. Yeah, you can pick up and throw them down.
Nice, nice.
Mm-mm. Collision, that look nice.
Yeah, you can shoot out glass and everything. Speng shell come out of the gun. Yeah, it's actually fun.
Nice. Do you plan to publish this on like Play Store?
Yeah, both Android and PC.
Okay.
I just school my way though. Slow development.
Yes. Yep.
That's it.
All right, cool. All right, thanks.
Yeah, man.
All right, so it seemed like people had to leave a bit early, but thank you guys for stopping by. So we have Bertram, Raheem, and Tajay. Tajay says he has to go for his 5 o'clock class. I also have to get ready for my 5 o'clock. So,
So do I.
it was fun having you guys. Thank you, Shawn, for such an insightful presentation, building that game. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. And again, if you guys have anything you guys want to share, we have a WhatsApp chat. hopefully you guys are part of it. So with that, I think we can close off. Everyone have a good evening. Enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend. And we'll see you next meeting.
All right. Bye.
Bye everyone.